Well, I heard that today's this week's daily devotional theme was journey. So a little bit of only the young can say, separate ways. Steve Perry and the boys. Oh, wait a minute, not that journey. Alexa, pause. No, we're talking about faith journeys and sometimes being at the crossroads. And actually, that song is a theme song from an '80s movie. I'll leave it to me to bring into movies called Vision Quest. It's kind of a goofy '80s movie, as many '80s movies are. But, a kid who's a high school wrestler trying to live out his dream of being a state champion and at the same time trying to figure out who he is. He's got this drive, this making weight, all the stuff that wrestlers do. And yet at the same time, he's dealing with adversity with his family, with a girl he likes who's older than him. And it's less about wrestling and more about life and trying to figure out who you are. In the Bible, the Bible tells us in Genesis that God comes to Abraham in chapter 12 and simply says, go, pick up your stuff, take your newlywed wife, and leave. Well, okay, all right. Is that you, God? Where am I going? He says, I'll show you where you're supposed to be. And I promise you, your name will be great. This land will be yours. Your people will be more numerous than the sands and the seashore. And Abraham says, I imagine, I wasn't there. That all sounds really great, but most of us like to have a little more knowledge, a little things tied down a little bit. I mean, could you imagine an A personality who's super organized saying, all right, when, where? I need a little more details here, God. You just want me to leave my family, leave our land, leave everything that I've known all my life? As we come upon Lent, I think about being in college and just getting ready to finish school. Maybe for some of the kids in our congregation, that's high school. Maybe for some of you, it's transitioning from one job to another, an opportunity to leave the state and go someplace else. And you're caught between the life you know and the life that is yet to be. For me, this was particularly hard. And I know not a lot of young adults probably listen to these, but if a parent's forward, grandparent forwards, when I was in college and I was getting ready to graduate and had been, training to be a teacher, but feeling led to do something in terms of my faith that I wasn't feeling like I could fully do in a school setting as much as I liked being in the school setting. And, we're graduating and all the insulated bubble of college life and frats and parties and social lives and calendars, intramurals and all that fun stuff. And then all of a sudden we're graduating. It's like, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And for some of us, that's, all these degrees, we spend all this money, go to all these classes, and then the jobs that are really available for somebody who's in psychology, maybe not so practical or great. And you think, all right, what now? Am I living in my folks' basement? What am I going to do with my life now when it's so wide open and I'm trying to figure things out? And for me, that was one of the most difficult times of my faith journey because in school, I hadn't regularly been. I'd go to church here and there, and sometimes the weekends or the work schedule or the late night social life didn't always mesh with me getting to church. I tried. And it's hard. And then you're going and leaving and living in a different community than one you grew up in. And it's difficult to navigate those waters. And sometimes you feel very alone, very isolated, not sure what you should do. Just like Abraham, this promise is laid out before him, but it takes a lot of courage. And ultimately, do I trust God enough with an unknown future? And I want to say to anybody listening, If you've got that big or heavy choice in front of you, whether it's, again, changing vocations, not sure if you are doing the thing that you love doing, and then what would I do instead? Or you got a big relationship question, or I can say this. As a person of faith, I didn't always have the answers, nor do I now. But knowing that God was with me and trusting that God would be with me, whether I made a mistake or took a wrong turn or got it exactly right. And the way I determine that throughout my life is almost always in my prayer life. When I'm struggling, when my stomach is in knots, I feel this peace that wasn't there before. Even in the face of a lot of anxiety and nervous deadlines, I'd be calm because the Spirit would give me this sense that God's got me. It's going to be okay. Just like I'm sure at moments when Abraham had to go, God said, hey, I promise you, you're going to be all right no matter what. Will you trust me on this journey?